Hi, it's Sandra with the Louisiana Cajun Mansion Bed and Breakfast. And today I'm going to be showing you how to make authentic, real Cajun rice and gravy. You know, rice and gravy isn't served, commonly served in restaurants, and it's a staple down here. Everybody, whether you're rich or poor, eats rice and gravy. It's a common dish, and the dish is either made with pork or beef or chicken. When it's made with chicken, we call that sticky chicken because it gets all sticky and stuff. But there are secrets to making a good rice and gravy. So if you're a Cajun out there and you often wonder, man, my rice and gravy isn't as good as mom's or grandma's, but you're adding all the same things that they do, you're just not cooking it right. And in this video, by the time we're done, you're gonna know how to make a beautiful rice and gravy. There are 4 secrets to making a good, authentic Cajun rice and gravy. The first thing is you wanna take your time when you're browning the meat. You want your temperature to be on a medium high. If it's too high, it's gonna burn, so your gravy won't be good. But if you do it at the right temperature, and I show you how to do it, then you will have enough of that gradu at the bottom of your pot to make sure that you have that nice brown look that you need. The other thing is you want to be able to saute your Holy Trinity right. You want to baby that Holy Trinity. And if you don't take your time doing it, you're missing the boat. You want to cook that Holy Trinity for about 45 minutes. I'm going to show you what it looks like at the beginning and then what it looks like at the end so that you know that you're stretching that and you're not rushing cooking your Holy Trinity down. And then the third thing is you want to cook your meat until it's very tender. The bigger the roast, the longer that you have to cook it. And you just cook it until you can put a real big fork into it and it's just extremely tender. And then the fourth thing is when you cut your meat, you want to cut it against the grain. Most rice and gravies are done with roast, but not always. You may have like a steak, a round steak, which you need to cook longer, or depending on the meat, depends on how long you have to cook it. And there's also something else that's very, very important. Cajuns don't ever use kitchen bouquet to make their gravies nice and brown, and they don't use flour either to thicken their gravies. You do it by cooking your Holy Trinity right and also browning your meat properly. And then the last secret that I have is you always want to either use a Magnolite pot or one of those real heavy iron pots. When you use aluminum pots or any other kind of pot, you're not going to get your gravy like you want it. So trust me, you can test it out if you want to, because I did. And it's the only thing that Cajuns usually use to do their dishes. So I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly how to make this, and I'll see you in just a few minutes. Okay, so our next step is stuffing a roast. As you can see here, I've totally taken the roast and I've seasoned it with the Benoit seasoning that I showed earlier, and also with the Redmond salt. It's a sea salt that we use, and I feel that it helps out with swelling. And you can control your salt in your seasoning by using a seasoning that doesn't have salt in it. Now, Cajuns usually don't cook a roast without stuffing it. The roast that I'm using here today is a beef roast, and I've chosen to use a center cut chuck steak. You can use a rump roast or basically a rump roast for beef, or a chuck's beef steak is the better way to go. This is very tender. It'll cook a lot quicker than the rump roast. But what you want to do is you're going to want to like cut a hole in it like this. Okay, so you can see there's a hole here, and then you grab some of this mixture that's already seasoned. The onion mixture is totally seasoned, and you push it in there. Push it in, and then you make another diagonal here, make another hole here, and as you can see, and then you just push that in with your thumb. Just get it in. Now, you're not going to put all of the seasoning that's in this that's in the bowl right here, in the steak, or I'm sorry, or in the roast, because you're going to use that to make your gravy. The Holy Trinity you see here is what's going to make a nice, beautiful, thick gravy. And you just continue doing this. I'm going to probably make like maybe 5 holes in here, like this, and it's just to get the seasonings and the flavor just into your roast. And I like doing it diagonal. My knife doesn't go all the way to the bottom this way, and you're able to get more of your seasoning mixes. So let's see here, I have 4 holes. I think this is good, so I'm gonna stay with that. So now you know how to stuff a roast. Okay, so the next step in making a rice and gravy is taking the stuffed roast that you already have and putting it in a Dutch oven with that has about 1/4 of an inch of olive oil or vegetable oil in it. And if you notice it's sizzling down here, you want it to sizzle. So we're gonna let this cook down for a few minutes, and I'll come back and show you how we're gonna brown it. Okay, the meat has been cooking for and sizzling for about a minute now. I have it pretty high, but not totally on high. And as see here, it's beginning to brown at the bottom here. So now I'm going to turn the roast over and let it brown the other side. But the bottom of the pot needs to be dark, dark, dark brown here. So it's just beginning to brown, and we need to brown, as you can see, the sides of the gravy, the sides of the roast. So we'll come back, and when I have it browned this the way that I need it to be browned, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, the roast has been frying down for, I guess maybe 15 minutes now. It was on high, but then I lowered it down to, medium high. And I'm going to pick this up so you can see the bottom of the pot looks really dark and brown, but yet it's not black. If you have your fire too high, it's going to turn black, and black is not good. So this is the perfect setting to start your nice brown gravy. Now the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to add all of these onions. Remember I had this in the pan there? And we're going to take these onions and just spread it around the roast here, because what we're wanting to do is we're wanting these onions to cook down to a puree. And this is the Holy Trinity. It's not just onions. And then the other thing that I do, just to add a little bit of tang to it, you don't have to do this. I just enjoy doing it. Is I add a little bit of diced tomatoes with green chili in it. It's not going to make a tomato sauce. It'll just add a little bit of twang. You don't have to add this. This is just something that I enjoy doing. And I'll probably add about 1/2 of a can, and I don't include the moisture in it. Okay? And then I just take this and just swirl it around. And if you notice at the bottom here, some of this gravy down here is beginning to just come and get unstuck. It's not sticking like it was doing. The onion adds moisture to it. Now I am going to take the roast and the onions right now that I have taken it and smooshed it all over in the pot, I'm going to cover it. And the purpose for covering it is to make all of the moisture that is in the Holy Trinity, it's going to come out of the vegetables. And it'll start forming a little gravy down there. All of the brown gradue that we call down there will start unsticking from the pot. And I'll take the cover off probably in about 10 minutes. And again, I still have the stove on a medium high. Remember, we want the next goal is to puree those onions. And you want to baby those onions. You want to cook that for at least 45 minutes. If you don't do that, you've messed your gravy up. So
I'll get back to you in just a few minutes.
I uncovered the pot here, and look at here. You see how all the gravy is just unsticking from in the bottom of the pot? The onions need to cook down for at least another 30 minutes because it's not even nearly cooked down enough, okay? And so all of this gras-du from the bottom of the pot is coming up. At some point, it'll run out of the moisture, and it's okay to put a little tiny bit of water in here if you need it, but I just let this gravy go on, and then I put the roast back right on top of it while it's cooking. Okay, I'm still cooking my Holy Trinity now down and making my gravy, and look at this. Look at how awesome this is looking. And remember, Cajuns never, ever, ever use kitchen bouquet to make their gravies dark, and they never have to use flour. We do it with our Holy Trinity. And so at this point, you can see, this has probably been cooking for at least a half hour. We're gonna go some more because I want those onions to really be pureed. And it's beginning to kind of stick down here, so I have one of these spoons with that has a straight edge to help scrape this down. And then I'm gonna add right here just a little bit of water. That helps take the gras-du off the bottom of this pot right here. So just kind of, I just added a little tiny bit of water. It's not a lot of water. See, it's not a lot, and that way it'll just help steam everything in the pot. I'm gonna cover it again so that it can cook down. I still have my fire on at about 9, so it's a medium high. Okay, so now we're down to actually getting the roast where the roast is going to be tender. Our gravy has been cooking down here for 45 minutes. Look how beautiful and brown it is. Once we're going to add some water, it'll be a little bit more transparent. And so this roast needs to be where it's just about falling apart once we're going to cut it. So I'm going to add some water. I have a glass that's about like this. And so I am just turning this. Here we go here. Just adding all this water here. And you can totally see how much water I have in here. See? And you can even add a little bit more if you want to, but I'm not right now. I am just going to go ahead and cover this pot again and let it cook. So the roast is probably going to cook a minimum of an hour because, you know, it's the roast isn't very thick. If you have a thicker roast, of course, you're going to cook it a lot longer. And then when it's done, you're going to cut it with an electric knife, and you're going to cut it against the grain. But I'll show you guys how to do that. For right now, this is going to continue cooking. I'm going to take this and I'm going to put this to almost on a medium fire. I'm going to take the cover that I have here and cover the pot and let it do its thing for at least another hour, maybe even an hour and a half, depending on how tender it is. But I'll come back and show you how to get it cut when we're done with this. Okay, I've turned the fire off. I've taken the roast out and sliced it up against the grain. As you can tell, here's the roast, here's the gravy, how absolutely beautiful it is. Oh my stars, this is like so good. And this is Cajun rice and gravy. By now, whether you're a Cajun or not, you should be able to make a real authentic Cajun rice and gravy because I've given you all of the details. Also, if you click on that link below here, you'll be able to get all of the instructions that are written out to a T with exactly what the measurements are. So see you later and let us know how your rice and gravy came out.